Alright, what's going on, guys? Hope you all are doing well. So, Cold War Season 5 for Zombies came out last night, and I checked out all of the new stuff. I fully upgraded the Death Perception perk, used the new Tesla Storm Field upgrade, also fully upgraded, and I'm here to give you guys a little bit of a showcase of everything that got added, because it was actually quite a substantial patch, and some of the things that were added, I really don't want to go under the radar, and I'm going to give you guys my honest review on like how Death Perception actually functions in game, and whether Tesla Storm's actually viable. So, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm also going to be using every new piece of equipment on the Legion boss fight later in this video. The introduction of Death Perception as a perk, and even some of the other like changes that came with Season 5 were somewhat controversial, and maybe a few of them for good reason, but I'm going to give you guys an honest review on all of the new content within Season 5, and basically kind of showcase to you how it all works. If you guys do end up enjoying the video today, I would really appreciate a thumbs up on it. Also, if you are brand new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. We have Call of Duty Vanguard coming out very, very soon, so we have another year of Treyarch zombies ahead of us. So if you're interested in anything with Cold War zombies or Vanguard zombies coming up, then this is going to be the place for you. But other than that, let's check out everything that came with Season 5 last night. One of the things that took me by surprise immediately was the addition of the Omega helicopter in Outbreak. So this is essentially a new world event, and it's just this blue helicopter that flies around, and you can shoot this down, but when you actually break it successfully, because it can fly away if you're not quick enough, but you shoot it down successfully, it will drop a supply crate or a care package, and you get a ridiculous amount of rare salvage and also just like common scrap. And if you have the fully upgraded Death Perception perk on top of that, when you gather those items, it's actually kind of broken. It's really, really good, so it's certainly worth going after. Now, this is the new map you're seeing in Outbreak. Collateral is probably the biggest step in the right direction as far as zombies has went with Outbreak, and making the map feel a little bit more visually and atmospherically more like a real zombies map. One of the fair criticisms of Outbreak I see quite frequently is like a lot of the locations, it's not the fact that they're ripped multiplayer maps, it's just that they don't really feel like zombies belongs in it, and that's completely fair enough. I would say in this new location, it's probably the closest they've gotten to that actual zombies location feeling, which is really nice, and all the world events interact with it quite well. One of the most unexpected, amazing new additions to this is actually the grapple gun, and basically the way this works, this is a craftable item at the crafting bench inside of Outbreak, not available in round-based maps because it would be completely broken, but this it behaves exactly like it did in BO4 if you played Blackout, and it is unbelievably fun in zombies. You can hold 10 at a time, and potentially even more if you have Mule Kick that prevents every once in a while from an equipment being used. You can have 10 or more charges of this, and you can zip around the map, use this to move in the most creative way possible, and this is such a good addition to Outbreak. Like, I'm kind of baffled this wasn't like a day one thing, but it's gonna completely change how this is played. To an extent, it does mean you have to sacrifice a little bit of your arsenal for this grapple gun instead of having something like a Gersh device or decoy grenades on hand to take up your tactical slot, but either way, it's like, it's probably one of my favorite items in the game currently, and especially for these bigger maps and just trying to traverse Outbreak in somewhat of a faster manner without a vehicle, the grapple gun is the way to do it. It's just so satisfying to use. You can chain this to trees, most buildings, and just get really creative with it. Also, the new Outbreak objective, Transport, is surprisingly fun. I was worried about this beforehand. A lot of you guys will remember I was expressing my concerns with this might being like a little bit boring if you're like stuck inside a vehicle. The way it works is you drive a vehicle to like 3 or 4 different locations and defend it for a period at a time, and then you need to bring the canisters back to the original spot to like basically put the Ethereum inside this rocket. It's a combination of the secure objective with the rockets and then retrieve, so it's a nice mix-up, and I think it's something that will add a lot to Outbreak. It's kind of hard in high rounds, I'm not gonna lie, so it certainly plays a lot easier co-op, but it's absolutely doable solo. Now, next up, let's talk about Death Perception. Let's discuss the new perk. Is it worth it? Is it worth upgrading? And how effective is this actually in-game, practically speaking? I did upgrade Death Perception immediately right when it released in the game, so it will be tier 5 for the entirety of this video and in this gameplay. Now, to be quite honest, Death Perception's first 2 tiers, kind of like as I expected, are completely useless. The minimap refresh maybe is good depending on what you're doing and how much you actually use your minimap. The second tier objective, or like the second tier upgrade, is completely worthless. It basically gives you a really faint indicator about when a zombie is behind you, but if you've got any kind of in-game sense or awareness, you really don't need this, and also by the time you even see the indicator, you're already probably gonna get hit, so it doesn't do anything for you whatsoever. However, the tier 3, 4, and 5 upgrades to Death Perception are where things really start to change, and I can confirm after playing with fully upgraded upgraded Death Perception, the 20% damage increase you get to armor is an absolute godsend. Dealing with any kind of armored enemies, whether it just be the regular ones or panzers, is like, it feels a lot more consistent now with how the rest of the enemies die and their average like time to kills. It just makes, it's hard to explain, but it makes the weapon meta and just the entire game feel a lot more consistent. I think there's absolutely no reason not to invest your Ethereum crystals into upgrading it this far. You pretty much have to. Tier 4 as well, giving you the extra salvage, is quite interesting because like the rate at which you get the increase, you can end up with quite odd numbers of rare salvage. You can have like 64 or like 186 or something like that. So it's not really an even number at this point if it's done right. But I will say that extra percentage increase in rare salvage actually means a lot in the long run. If you're going to be making things like support items, i.e. the flamethrower, war machine, death machine, even self-revives, it actually kind of counteracts the balance patch they did like a few patches ago where the self-revive will increase every time you purchase it. This sort of counteracts that if you happen to be going down a lot. Now, the main ability of Death Perception being able to detect enemies through walls and like having them keylined, I didn't think was going to be all that useful, but I'm finding it's surprisingly effective in just Cold War zombies in general. Also, the ability to see items through walls on outbreak, specifically like the Fury Crystals and even Loot Chest, is also super good. All in all, Death Perception is a very solid perk. I don't think it's necessarily a crutch perk, but it's Cold War zombies and we don't have a perk limit, so there is no reason really not to use it. You're just going to get extra damage and extra armor and you know, salvage, stuff like that. So there is absolutely no reason to not play it. It's not as like game breaking as something like Juggernog or Stamina Up or even Quick Revive, but it does have its fair share of situations where it definitely shines. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the new Tesla Storm field upgrade, and I did a lot of testing with this, and I've come to the conclusion that this is just Frenzied Guard, but a little bit worse for solo, but it's a potentially better solution for co-op. This Legion boss fight I was playing last night, I intentionally decided to put on Tesla Storm and use that only just to see how effective this is solo. Basically, the way it works is you get a lightning effect and a sort of field around you that makes you untouchable to certain enemies. Specials, when fully upgraded, cannot hit you. Regular zombies cannot hit you. However, you're not invincible to dogs. So that means, you know, Hellhounds and Plaguehounds will still be able to hit you within this mode. So you're not completely invincible, and it also does not replace your armor like Frenzied Guard does. However, it does make you faster, and it makes your entire team faster if you're playing co-op. The lightning field around you will incrementally damage the enemies around you over time, so it's quite effective for that. But I will say it's not as good as Frenzied Guard, as that completely slows them down to a walking speed. This is way better for boss fights, especially Legion, where you cannot replace your armor mid-match, but I just wanted to see, at least in this fight, how it would play. One key distinction, Frenzied Guard does not incrementally damage enemies as it's active. You have to do that yourself, whereas the Tesla Storm actually does. So it's got that going for it at least, but I think the ability to not replace your armor, where Frenzied Guard does, completely sets it apart. This is probably worth using in co-op, or at least with one other player, but in solo, I'm going to always recommend Frenzied Guard for virtually every other scenario, just because Tesla Storm doesn't quite get there for me. Also, you basically only get one charge with Tesla Storm as well. It doesn't require that many kills to fill back up again, so you can use it very frequently, but if you're looking for something to like just kind of cover you, then honestly Ether Shroud might be a better option, because you're gonna have overall more time in that, consider it's fully upgraded. As far as movement speed goes, I'm pretty sure Ether Shroud is still faster than Tesla Storm. So Tesla Storm, oddly enough, is like an amalgamation of a lot of the field upgrades that we already have, and a really interesting combination of it, we'll say, but I don't really think it has any situations where it absolutely shines above the rest like most field upgrades in the game do. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys and talk about is the Flamethrower, a new support weapon. It's actually a lot cheaper than the War Machine and Death Machine, and it is by far the most effective one in the game. Like, this is single-handedly, I think, the meta for high rounds if you're going to be doing like training strategies. If you prefer the playstyle of getting a full horde and then like methodically taking them out, just as I suspected, the Flamethrower is perfect for that. And honestly, it kills a lot faster than I expected it to. I felt like it was just going to do incremental damage. It wasn't going to be necessarily like a melt machine, but it kinda is both at the same time. I was very impressed with the performance of the flamethrower, and I'm going to be using it quite a lot, I think, in most high round strategies, if not all of them. However, one weakness to point out with the flamethrower is it does not have the range of something like the Death Machine and War Machine. That is something to consider when you're trying to figure out which one you should use, especially considering the fact that, like, some of the Outbreak objectives require you to hit zombies from far away. In that case, something like a Death Machine might be better, but if you're hoarding and taking zombies at close range, the flamethrower, like, literally no questions asked, is now the best specialist or the next workshop item. As far as I feel about how the new patch affects the game in general and like how it's playing right now, besides a few bugs, like specifically losing camos as you teleport to new locations and a couple other glitches that have been introduced as a result of this new fix, which I'm going to excuse for now because I think those are going to be patched very soon. But all in all, the game now plays really well meta-wise. I think this is probably the strongest the meta has ever been, and I'm hoping that this is essentially just laying really good groundwork for hopefully the last seasons of content, whatever we're getting in Season 5 Reloaded, which I hope is a new Outbreak Easter egg, and then of course with Season 6 we'll be getting the next round-based map. Cold War Zombies has really started to fill out over the last couple of months, and I'm very happy with the state of the game right now, and I hope they continue this into whatever they're doing with Cold War for the rest of the season, and also with Vanguard. Like, it's my personal opinion that the gameplay of this fundamentally would work really well in just like new iterations of the game. But that's aside, we'll talk about Vanguard a little bit later. I just wanted to show you guys everything that's going on with Cold War. I wanted to show you the new Season 5 update and all the things with it, and give you my review on Death Perception, Tesla Storm, and all the new Outbreak stuff as well. But if you guys have played it, I would love to know what you think down below in the comment section. If you guys did enjoy today's video, however, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe also if you're new to the channel. I do stream zombies quite frequently over on Twitch, so if you don't already follow me over there, the link to that is in the description. I'll be actually streaming tonight. I'll be doing every Easter egg in Cold War, so make sure to click that, and I'll see you guys over there for the stream. But have a great rest of the day, everyone. Take care. I'm gonna go for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I gotta go. Peace out.